Oh yeah, these waves is on swim. No wonder why they hate on her. Yeah. I'm about to eat me some food. Oh yeah. Little Caesar charged me $30. Shit. Oh yeah. That's busting. I can't wait to read these books. Just to show you how much research I already been doing on them. Where is my notebook? Just to show you. This is magazine. This is how deep this goes. This just shows you I already been started. That's just the business thing. But yeah, right here. This is just my hand-to-hand research of the stuff that I'm already ordering books to read. That I already been documenting it. Hold on, that's something there. Look. Just so you, I don't think this is something new. Like I'm reading up. No, one thing just leads to another. You know? That's just the other stuff. To show you this stuff is real. People gotta stop wasting their time on irrelevance, you know? Some stuff is just irrelevant. Just to show you, like, this research thing is nothing new to me. I've been doing this for years and years. If y'all don't follow my YouTube channel already, go to YouTube, New Jeru Blue. That is N-E-W space J-E-R-R-U space B-L-E-U. I'm telling you, I know things that other people can't comprehend. I'm telling you, it's time to wake up, you know? People still trying to argue and debate with me about the Bible. That's just one book. If you know all the other pieces to the puzzle that's at play here, people, they don't know the half, man. People do not know the half. People are really asleep. People are spiritually dead. They are lying dead in the market street, like the book of Revelation said, for 3.5 days. But still, to the people's astonishment, they rose to their feet. They came back. They came back to their senses. They woke up in the land of their captivity. They start to remember themselves, you know? Even after the fact, people try to change times and laws, you know? They try to do so much different stuff, you know? They try to change names, you know, trick you with names, even though it says, biblically speaking, that the name shall stay the same throughout all generations. But why do they still change it? Why did they replace these 72 Pacific names with Lord over 6,000 times in the Bible? Why? Why they tell you all these things forbidden? Now, anybody that tell you that magic's bad, you know that there is no such Hebrew word that describes magic. There's no such thing. Every culture has their own form of magic, but it's just called something different. The Bible calls it that Yeshua HaMashiach was a carpenter. Carpenter comes from the word building. Building comes from the word engineer. Engineer is where you get your African word magic called Haka. Yeah. So when you want to debunk a spell, you got to debunk the words, and when you got to lead to the origins. Just like people will tell you, oh, sorcery means this. Well, sorcery that was translated into the Bible, it comes from the Greek word pharmakia, and pharmakia is where you get your English word pharmacy from. It means to drug or alter, enhance from a natural state, from a natural state to, an enhanced state or a lower vibrational state, but using, elements to do it, reaching heights, from an unnatural phase, Necromancy, that's just something different, with communicating with the dead. Then you have other spiritual magic where people are contacting demons and other things, you have the greater and lesser keys of Solomon. It shows you, but it didn't show you that they use them for bad things. They use them to do the bidding, to do a greater good. And then you have your regular angels and spirit guides and ancestors that also play a part in this as well, Color code is key, just like the breastplates of Aaron. It talks about, 12 tribes, symbolic to 12 crystals. It'll go to the book of Revelation when it tells you that this New Jerusalem that's coming out the sky, it talks about, streets paved in gold in each entrance. It's 4 sides, it's 3 entrances to each of the 4 sides, and it's all entrances are marked with a crystal. As soon as you open up the Bible, it talks about them being in the Garden of Eden, and it tells you that it was gold found there, and then it starts talking about specific names of the crystal. And we can keep going on and on and on. From burning incense to them sending the prayers up to the Most High, because smoke is symbolic to air. Earth, water, fire, air, 4 cardinals, or some people ignorantly call the swastika, which you people think is a racist sign. It's really not. It comes from the 4 cardinals. Just like when they talk about people meeting at a crossroads, it deals with the 4 cardinals. It's more than what people think. Just like when it says to be a disciple, you break down disciple, you get the word discipline. Discipline is the ones that are supposed to be disciplined in the law. What is the law? The laws of God or the laws of nature, the laws of cause and effect. In Egyptian, they'll call it the 42 laws of Ma'at. Well, guess what? Look how all these numbers synchronize. Just like you will go into the Hebrew, you will get the 42-letter name of God who creates the Anabakoach prayer, Now, they tell you that the Messiah died and rose in 3 days. What is 3 days? 72. What is 7 and 2 create? 9. 42. Look at these number sequence. You rearrange 42, backwards, you get 24. What did it tell you in Revelation? 24 elders that sitteth upon the throne. Or in other cultures, they'll say the 24 galactic races, Just like you see in the Egypt culture, you'll see a lion head with a sphinx, and then you'll see the bird, or deity of Thoth. Then you see the man, and then you'll see the Apis bull. But guess what? You go into the Bible, it'll tell you the 4 living beasts or entities that sit upon the throne. But everybody's been so divided. What is the devil's job to do? To divide and conquer. If you divide and you have so many denominations and different religions and sectors, but guess what? It's going to cause confusion. Who is the author of confusion? What is the devil? Devil backwards means live. They live right amongst you. It is not no fiery, no entity that lives in a fiery place with horns down below. It is right here amongst you through people, places, and things. That's why it tells you the beast. The beast, and it tells you it's a system, it's a multitude, it's an ideology, it's a nature that lives amongst the people. Live, devil, live. Because where you get the word Satan from, when you go into the holy tablet, Satan backwards is natas, and where people say Lucifer at. This is how they cast a spell on everybody with words. Lucifer's name is not even Lucifer, it's Lucifuge. It's just key indications with spelling. Just like they won't tell you the planetary names is Shabbatai, which correlates with Saturn, and Saturn correlates with Saturday. Shabbatai, Tezadek, Jupiter, Madim, Mars, Nogab, Venus, Kokab, Mercury, Shamesh, the sun, and Lavana, the moon. Now look at Shamesh. What if Noah's had 3 sons? Ham, Shem, and Japheth. You go in the Zondervan Compact Dictionary, it tells you that Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. Then it tells you Japheth is the Isles of the Gentiles, you know, northern to the Europeans. But if Shem is not part of the dark races, I mean, is considered the Negroes, which was handedly pointed out in there, then it should tell you right there. What is Shem? Shem, the name for the sun, is Shamesh. What was the original name of the Bible? They said it was Helios Biblios. What does Helios means? Light ray. Why do you think it's always talking about the Son of Man, the Son of God, or what they would call in Egypt is Isis, Ra, and El. What is Ra? The sun. The sun is the central star of the universe. What do you have inside of you? God is eternal. You have a solar plex chakra, the eternal sun within you. What they tell you, that energy rises because you reach your higher self. That is called a rapture, ascension. You are going up. He was raised up. yeah, we can really get into it. But this book right here, this is where all the meat and bones. This shows you how to tap into your true power. It says, you know how it says in the Bible, it says, you will be able to perform the things in which I have and work even greater wonders. Well, this is what made me get this book, because this one specific topic, it says, when the two become one. What does that mean, when the two become one? You can see how the Bible talks in metaphors, parables, allegories, and figurative language, and it talks about this bridegroom and the Hamashiach being the bride, and we are being groomed because we are going to come back into this oneness. The second coming is the Christos energy coming back, which was some people call cosmic consciousness, also known as Christ consciousness. Is for you to be like Christ. So what did he say? I must leave to send you the comforter. Comforter, what they would say is the Holy Spirit, or in Hebrew, the Ruach HaKodesh. You know, key is the bunker words. Like, people don't know that soul and spirit are 2 different things. In Hebrew, it would say that your soul is nefesh. Then your spirit is Ruach HaKodesh. The Ha is da, Quadash is holy, holy, holy. So you see how they say Holy Bible, but why did the Bible was called Helios? Because it deals with light, ray, Ra, sun. But I'm telling you, once you realize and you can link all of these entities all together, because you have to go back to the book of Genesis, Bereshit, in the beginning. In the beginning, Elohim said, let us create them in our image. A couple passages later, he says, oh, look, man, they have become like us. And then it goes in another couple passages. It says, let us go down there and confuse their language, because us is more than one entity at play here. And once you start to realize there's more than one entity at play here, that's why there's a terminology called the Most High God. Psalms 83 says, the Most High judgeth in the congregation of the gods. I'm freestyling, just putting this information out right now because the Spirit is coming upon me, because it's all starting to make sense now. Everything's coming, red Kachina, blue Kachina, you know, it's all starting to make sense. The yin, the yang, polarity, duality, you know, you can't have one without the other. So they tell you, don't look this way, don't look at that, that's bad, everything's demonic, everything's the devil. That's just another form of stripping you from your true power. The same way the political system did with your birth certificate, your social security number, and everything else. Strip you from it right in front of your face, but they still have to, through galactic and universal law, they still have to notify you, make you aware of it, and you still have the free will to make the choice and the decision to decide if it's a yay or a nay. That's just like a pack of cigarettes. Even though they're like, oh, they selling death, they're gonna be held accountable. No, because under your free will, because if they put there on there in fine print that these will cause cancer or possibility of cause cancer in your free will, and you still chose to buy it, you accepted the contract, you know? Just like when you get a license for something, getting a license for something means that you are getting a privilege for something, meaning that you are getting consent, and consent means contract, and contracts are always done under commerce, and commerce is always falls under business. You know, that's why churches won't tell you everything that needs to be told, because it's operating under a business in the private sectors where they get tax exemptions, which they would call 501c3. And congregations, or nations of these churches, as a collective, they follow a guideline. That's why your Pope and everybody else, they have more books and they follow things that you don't follow necessarily. Give you 66 books, but the Bible clearly says in the book of Revelations, anybody that adds into this book, I'm going to add into them the plagues in which I talked about in this book. Anybody that takes away from this book, I'm going to take away their portion from the book of life. So if you had a 1611 Bible that had Apocrypha, a whole nother 14 books, but in the late, what was it, 18, let me see that. It was it exactly. Let me go into my notes, because I have this stuff all documented and written down. Hold on. Oh, what's the book I had? I'll find it real quick. Oh, my goodness. Y'all got me cooking and preaching in here. Well, let's put it, I think it was 1928 when the Catholic Church decided to take the apocryphal books out of Biblios, put it that way. Where is the book at? It's around here somewhere. And I tell you, I like to prove all things, because I like to show people what I'm talking about. Let me get off of here, because I can go on, but like I said again, go follow my YouTube channel, which is New Jeru Blue, NEWJERRUBLEU, and you will see exactly what I am talking about. Look at this. This is West Coast of Africa. And look at the names. Yahuda, Benjamin, Benah, Benjamin, Southern Kingdom. Because guess what? People think Israel is the Middle East, but it is Northeast Africa. You want to be technical. This is all recently has been changed since the nation of Israel was abolished, cast away, spread to the four corners of the earth. That's why you see a lot of these beings, there's no original homeland, because Israel, Isis Ra and El, did not become a nation until they were in the land of Mizraim, which we know as Egypt, which comes from the Greek word Egyptos, meaning the house of bondage. You had the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, and the Israelites were always migrated into Egypt because they blended in there. But what I'm saying is, remember, all the continents were together at one point. That's why you had Pangea. That's why you have these Pacific beings. You think that the Most High only subjugated his people to that one little teeny strip of land? Let's be real. Let's be technical. Their lands was everywhere, So this is before and after. That's why you see Hebrew artifacts in Utah, the Grand Canyon, as well as, Egyptian hieroglyphs in the Grand Canyon. And a lot of these places have no-fly zones. That's why you see all the same biblical names from the Middle East right over here in the Americas, From Chicago down to Tennessee to all the way to Utah. They got almost every biblical city that is in the Bible is named in Utah in the same geographical locations. Now let's make that make sense. You ever heard somebody say this saying, like, you go through the Grand Canyon and you come out in Africa? It's a lot of things people don't know, but it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, it's so deep. Let me shut up, man.